Kia ora. Welcome to Rehu Sport. We're looking at Super Rugby Aoteaora round 10 and we're previewing the game between the Blues and the Chiefs. What a game it could have been if the Blues had only got a bonus point last week against the Crusaders. It would have been all on. The Blues would have had everything to play for, getting a bonus point win to get themselves into the final. As it is now, well, it's going to be an interesting game, but not so much for the result and what it means to the competition, because as we see by the table, the Crusaders are handsomely at the top there. They've got a home final against the Chiefs even before this game. Even if the Blues get 5 points for a bonus point victory, they will only have 4 wins in the competition so far, and what breaks the tie is the number of wins they have. So Blues had loads of bonus points, but not enough wins. And we'll see a bottom of the table clash between the Highlanders and the Hurricanes on the Friday night. Let's go to the teams. The Blues 15 are largely unchanged from last weekend. Just at flanker there, you'll see that Adrian Choate has come in for Dalton Papali'i. Papali'i didn't look great with his knee at the end of the game last week. And Tom Robinson, the big red, comes back at blindside flanker, and he will captain the team alongside Rico Ioane as well. At halfback, Finlay Christie, and in my opinion, is the best halfback the Blues have. He's quick, he plays with a great tempo, good pace, and I'm glad to see him get a start at 9. Tanielu Talia comes back from his injury from last weekend. He'll get a start at 12. And on the right wing, Bryce Heem, who's got a couple of big games this year. He's been selected. And this young Tyro Zahn Sullivan, who's always looked the goods when he's had the chance at Mitre 10 level. All right, well, here come the Chiefs 15. And even though we saw Clayton McMillan on Tuesday going, oh, yeah, it's a big game, we'll be selecting our best team. Oh, my goodness. He's thrown the baby out. He's thrown the bath water, the soap, the shampoo. Everything's come out. Only 2 players are left from the starting 15 last week. They are Peter Gus Soakula and also Bryn Gatlin. So those 2 have retained their positions in the 15. Other than that, it's all change. Sean Wainui is going to captain from centre. Let me get this right, because there's a heck of a lot of changes. 2 debuts on the starting 15. Taulani and Capelli, the flankers, will get their debuts. There are 4 guys on the bench with splinters in their bum waiting to get on as well. There's 4 potential debuts there. Lyndon Muth, Florence, Rayhana and Gideon Rampling, who played so well in the under-20 tournament a couple of weeks ago. And if the old Koro, I don't know how old he is, 36, 37 I think, Liam Messon, gets on, it'll be his 180th game for the franchise. There have been loads of injuries for the Chiefs. It looks as though Arkoi, Jacobson, Tia, they've all got concussion symptoms. I'll be hoping to nurse them through to the final next week. Nankervel has broken his finger. You'll see in the loose forwards they've had real problems. Simon Parker, Karpik and Caleb Bolshere are all out for the season as well. So they've brought in Tom Florence into the camp and also Liam Messon as well to bolster the loose forwards for the remaining 6 games after this weekend. So they've got a final, and then they've got 5 games in a row against the Aussies, which means they're going to have 10 or 11 games in a row. So that's why McMillan's probably gone, to rest his big players. So he's tried to give a bit of motivation to these players who are starting. He reckons there are 7 places up for grabs for the 23 next weekend, so lots to play for these guys that have been selected against the Blues. Interesting for me is the loose trio that looks like they're a little weak there. Capelli's a huge hitter. Work rate, he played a lot off the bench in the last couple of seasons and came on and did quite well. Don't know a lot about Taulani, to be fair. And so Akula, well, he's had 2 or 3 weeks off his injury cloud and looked good every time he's had a chance. So that's good for them. And Gatlin, obviously there's big responsibility and big pressure on Bryn Gatlin to make sure he drives this team round. They're not going to get too many opportunities, you wouldn't imagine, so they've got to make the most of it. And I'm sure he'll get lots of traffic through his channel as well. It looked as though Talia and Ioane, which I mentioned here in the Blues, they had a plan last week against the Crusaders, which sadly after 14 minutes Talia went off. But Talia's strong running will really take the pressure off Rico Ioane. That's what they're hoping. If only Ioane can catch the ball and do the simple, basic things right. He was really revved up last weekend against the Crusaders. Too revved up, too anxious, and had a nightmare. So they need to increase their confidence. I think after last weekend's outing, they really mucked it up. And Liam McDonald says they keep training well as soon as that whistle blows for the game time. They're just not in the zone. So they really need to master that this weekend. And for me, the chance for the outsides as well. Caleb Clark needs to reignite his season. Had a great game 2 weeks ago. Was a bit quiet against the Crusaders. I'm sure he'll get lots of opportunities. And Zahn Sullivan, really promising player. So looking forward to seeing him and what he can do from the back as well. Could be an interesting one for later on in the competition. Well, hope you enjoy this weekend's rugby. As we know, the final has been chosen. The Crusaders will host the Chiefs next weekend. These two games, I think they'll be interesting games. I think the Highlanders Hurricanes, I picked the Hurricanes there. I think they need the win. They want to win. Their will to win is probably a bit stronger than the Highlanders. And I think now the Blues should win by, I think, at least 20. If they don't win by 20, they should be disappointed. So have a great weekend. Hope you enjoy the rugby. Subscribe to the channel, please. Rihu Sport. Love to have you along for the ride with this super season and beyond. And take care. This has been a production of Tahu Films. Haere rā.